All right, let's get started. It is 4:45. If you're just tuning in, this is Developmental Pathways Virtual Resource Fair, the first day, but last session for the day. Last one, but not the least. So community services and general resources will present about 2 to 3 minutes each. Any questions that you might have as attendees, your cameras and your microphones are off. Feel free to drop those in the chat. I believe Diana Fry will be fielding those questions. And at the end of all the presentations, we'll address some of those questions and give you guys a little bit more chance to answer live. First up, we have Autism Community Store. And Stephanie Webb, if you can turn on your microphone and your camera, let Kayla know verbally when you're ready to start, and I'll let you get on going.
I am ready. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie, and I am with the Autism Community Store. We are a brick and mortar store in Aurora. We used to be in Southeast Denver. We have been in business since 2008. So we always say that we're more than just a store. And we did start as kind of a warehouse. And as people started to come, we started our brick and mortar. And then the store has kind of grown into more than that. So we do sell a variety of items, things like sensory items, therapy tools, educational products. We have a team of makers that makes weighted blankets for us. We have a bunch of other products as well that are made by some of our self-advocates. So really anything that you could think of for our community, we sell at the store. All of us at the store are also either parents of somebody with special needs or self-advocates. Myself, I have a 10-year-old on the spectrum. Our owner has an older one on the spectrum as well. So we kind of run the gamut. So that's why we say we are more than just a store. We completely get the journey that everybody is going through, and we're right there with you. Next slide, please. So we were lucky enough that last year in May, we were able to expand into a larger space. So we used to be in Southeast Denver, and it was just the store. Anytime we wanted to have events, we had to kind of move everything out of the way. In May, we moved into what is called the Autism Community Center. So now the store is housed within that center. That center has been amazing for us to be able to provide a ton of programming for the community that we just couldn't provide before. We have the Resource and Support Center, where we have a ton of resources about everything that you can imagine that you would need along the journey. We also have a trained navigator who's always there to help answer questions about what resources might be appropriate. Maybe you've tried this and that's not working. We have lists of CCBs and providers and anything you can ask for. We are also a certified Medicaid application assistance site. So that means that we can help you to apply for Medicaid, and that does include the Medicaid buy-in. We also have a computer in the Resource and Support Center that's accessible and usable for anybody who might need it, and has links to various resources in the area. We recently have a partnership that we've started with El Grupo Vida. So they are in there on Mondays and Fridays for our Spanish-speaking community. So if you have any questions, come in and they can help to answer those for you as well. So along with the Resource and Support Center, the Community Center also has a large community space where we host a variety of events, things from trainings, social events, support groups. We have self-advocate, sibling and parent support groups every month. We also have been doing outdoor movie nights during this kind of time of social distancing, if you will. We've done some things with a lot of different community partners as far as trainings are concerned. So we try to keep our Facebook pretty up to date on that type of programming, as well as our newsletter. So that's a good way to see that. Next slide. So along with the Resource and Support Center and the community space in the store, we also have Sensory Cave. So Sensory Cave is something that we rolled out a couple of years ago, and the idea was to normalize sensory needs and differences. A lot of people say, well, I can't shop there because I'm not on the spectrum. Well, that might be, but neither am I, and I love a lot of our things too. So we all have sensory needs. So we do have an actual sensory cave in the store. We also have kind of co-branded as Sensory Cave for a lot of larger conferences, again, because we sell a lot of sensory items. So you can come in, we can offer suggestions if you want to create your own sensory cave at home. And we also have, prior to COVID, and of course we'll continue to do that after, created kind of mobile sensory caves for organizations or events. So if you have something that you're looking and you're like, gosh, I really want a sensory inclusive space for the community when they come to attend that, reach out to us and we'd be happy to collaborate with you on that. Last year, one of our most recent things that we did is we purchased a sensory bus. So this is just basically a mobile sensory cave. We bought it as it is, as you see in the slides. We are going to revamp it a little bit, but the idea is to take it to events. We're going to start taking it to day programs probably soon, to kind of give an idea of what a sensory inclusive space looks like. If you have an event that you'd like it for, you can reach out to us as well. And we're always able to do that. So that is us, and kind of our thing is that we just want to you know, be a support in whatever way we can for the community.
Awesome, thank you so much for coming. Sorry, I got a little distracted. My virtual background went away. Don't know what happened, but I'm Andrea with Developmental Pathways. That was Autism Community Store. Thank you, Stephanie. Next presenter on our list is Lone Tree Arts with Lee or Lay?
Lee, yep.
Lee, sorry, Lee.
That's
Lee
okay.
Chandler. Feel free to let Kayla know when you're ready to start your slideshow.
I'm good to go. Thanks so much. Well, we're really, really happy to participate in this virtual resource fair. The Lone Tree Arts Center is in Lone Tree in the South Metro area, and we've been in business now for about 10 years. And we started providing sensory-friendly programming to the community about 6 years ago. And it's really evolved since we've done it. So let me tell you first a little bit about what our sensory-friendly programming is like. It's really for people who have not been able to experience theater in the way that other people have. So if you think about going to the theater, oftentimes you think about a dark room where people are clapping, there might be loud noises on stage. And it's just not necessarily a great environment for somebody who has sensory concerns, or maybe can't really sit still, or needs to speak. So what we started doing was offering sensory relaxed performances, where we modify the whole entire experience from the moment that you walk in. So we keep our house lights up so that it's not completely dark. We have our sound levels turned down, and we do have headphones available for people who really can't really take in any of the heavier sound that's happening. Instead of clapping, we do jazz hands, and the performances are just modified. If there's like a loud boom that happens during a play, for example, we take that out completely. If there's something that's scary that might be shown on stage, we take that out completely. We allow people to talk during the show and move around. And we also have a quiet room available so that if you need to take a break, it's not a problem at all. You can go into the quiet room where there are little skittles set out on the floor that you can sit on, and it's a little bit darker, so you can just take a break if you need to. Once we started doing this, we realized that there was a need in the community for other organizations to learn more about what it means to have a relaxed performance. So we started working with the Denver Center for the Performing Arts and other organizations that wanted to present sensory-friendly programming to help them do it. So now it's actually a lot more prevalent in the community, which is fantastic. And we have we really have 3 performances coming up. One is The Tale of Paul Bunyan with the Colorado Symphony, and that's November 15th. We usually do our sensory-friendly performances monthly. And then we have a sensory-friendly Santa where people can sign up for time slots to come and talk with Santa, not sit on his lap this year because of COVID, but it's just a way for you to not have to go to a really kind of busy environment, and it's a little bit more relaxed. It's our 2nd year doing that. And that same day, we're going to be doing a sensory-friendly movie where people can come and watch a family-friendly holiday movie in in a sensory-friendly, modified way, and it'll be a family-friendly holiday movie that is socially distanced. We generally do our programs once a month, as I had said, and we don't really have anything planned yet that we're announcing for the winter and spring, but we plan on doing that pretty soon. And then one other thing I wanted to mention that we're not able to do this year because of COVID, but we will resume it next year, is that we have a sensory-friendly open house where people can learn about what it takes to put on a theatrical production. So you can see our soundboard, you can see how things get lit, you can see what our prop room looks like. And along with that, we have a resource fair for other organizations that provide services to people with autism or other sensory concerns or developmental disabilities. Usually that is in early September, and we will be resuming that again next year when everything has calmed down a little bit. So that is us.
Awesome, thanks Lee. Again, that was Lee from Lone Tree Art Center. Great presentation, some really fun stuff. I know a lot of community providers are providing a lot of sensory ability, accessibility. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Next up is Naz Adventures. Our presentation will be done by Mary. Mary, if you're able to turn on your camera and your microphone, let us know when you're ready. Kayla is ready with your slides.
Can you hear me?
Sounding kind of soft.
That's my voice. Okay, my video is saying that
Are you able to, let me see if we can get your video on there. Try that. Dinah did throw into the chat some links if you guys want to check that out. Mary, if you can turn your camera just a little bit more down so we can see all your face. It's kind of cutting off right about there.
Is that good? Can you hear me?
Still kind of soft. Try checking your microphone. Oh, I see you. How loud it is. Sometimes if you go to adjust it, you can adjust it all the way up.
Okay.
But if you're watching and you see those links in the chat, that is for either to connect to our landing page, which has all the presentations, the brochures, contact information for anyone that's presented today or tomorrow. You can find that all information there. There's another link if you are watching this. Anytime you go into a session, you can submit your contact information so we can draw you for our door prizes, which were kindly donated by a lot of the different presenters that presented today and tomorrow. Mary, it sounds like you're ready to go.
Can you hear me?
I think we got you. I'll just turn off mine and we'll let you go do your thing. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Mary Nazarenas. I own Naz Adventures Incorporated. I'm a PASA. Have been a PASA since 2017, January 2017. And so we basically hire people as independent contractors to work with the people that they love. and so a little bit of background, I have worked in this business for about 20 years. And when we were not be able to build through Developmental Pathways or Rocky Mountain Human Services, I decided to become a PASA. And then I realized other people who were not PASAs needed someone to bill for them. So I opened my business up to bill for other people other than just me and my kids. So we have people that love working with children, so they work on the CES waiver people, and then we have people that love working with the adults. We have basically non-facility based day programs where the providers go and pick up their people and go and do things that are based on what the people in the group like to do. So we like to make sure they all have fun, but that they all have a where they have fun, but we also teach them life skills in a natural and normal environment out in the community. So we pay 80% of the current Medicaid rates to our independent contractors. And so that's us in a nutshell. I guess I didn't have you do the screens, but
Awesome. I think on my end, I might be having a hard time hearing you, Mary, but were you able to get all the slides that you're in, or are we still presenting?
that's the last slide, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. Sorry about that. That'll be probably my computer. Thank you again, Mary. That was from Naz Adventures. Next presentation is Primitive Reflex Integration Plus, and that will be presented by Joanna Holden.
Good afternoon.
Hi. All right. Well, you've heard the spiel, so go ahead and I'll let you take the floor.
Thank you, Andrea. My name is Joanna Holden. I'm with Primitive Reflex Integration Plus. We call ourselves PRI Plus for short. We are located in Littleton. How many of you who are watching have a child or know a child who can't sit still, like they have ants in their pants? Or how many of you have a child who is overly sensitive to sights, sounds, touch, taste, smells, sometimes even textures? The reason I ask is because primitive reflexes, if they don't go away like they're supposed to, can cause some of those issues. So we work at PRI Plus, we work with children one-on-one so that they're not always wiggly and so they're not always hypersensitive. Let me give you an example of that. One of the reflexes we work with is called the spinal volant reflex. The purpose of that reflex, well, what it does is when you touch a baby's back, they flex their hip to that side. If you touch the other side of their back, they flex their hip to the other side. The purpose for that reflex is to wiggle their way through the birth canal, which I think is just ingenious. And as they grow, usually between 3 to 9 months, that reflex goes away because it's no longer needed. It's no longer necessary. However, if it doesn't go away, anything that touches a child's back is going to make them have that automatic and involuntary wiggle response. So think about when they touch the back of a chair to sit down, or sometimes like the elastic on pants or waistbands on pants, it makes them wiggly and they can't control it. So imagine that child, after working with us, we get that reflex to go away and they're not wiggly anymore. Imagine what it feels like for them to be able to, in a new way, focus, concentrate, and learn. And that's what we're all about. So that's one of the 8 reflexes that we look at and work with. And there are other companies out there who do what we do in some respects. So what makes us different? Well, there are a couple of things. First is that we use cold laser. Cold laser is a perfectly safe, non-invasive, and it makes it a drug-free program that we use. Mine looks like a little flashlight, and I shine it at the child's brainstem, which is where those primitive reflexes are housed, while we do the exercises to help inhibit the reflexes. Like I said, it's perfectly safe, and it makes the use of repetition go down. We don't have to do as many reps of the exercises to make it effective and efficient. The second thing that makes us different and unique is that we offer parent coaching throughout the entire program. I have 2 amazing parent coaches, Miss Audrey and Miss Shannon, and they both have extensive background working with both students and with families, parents especially, of children who have neurodiverse backgrounds. Their goal really is to support the entire family from a holistic point of view, to support that family as the child grows and changes during our program. Specifically, our program is 8 weeks long. The child comes twice a week for 45 minutes to an hour or so. The parents do their parent coaching once a week, and that's an hour per week. Starting with COVID, we have been doing that virtually, and that seems to be working out pretty well. We can do either in-person or virtual, whatever the parent is comfortable with and whatever the coach is comfortable with. I would really love the opportunity to meet some of you guys, to give you the opportunity to see more about what we do, learn more, get your questions answered. The first step for us is to set up, or go ahead and call us to set up an evaluation. You can get all those questions answered, especially as things come up. We're always available. And then we see if we're a good fit. If we are a good fit, we go ahead with the program. For additional information, you're welcome to visit our website. It's primitivereflexplus.com, or you can give us a call. The number is 720-295-5788. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joanna. That was great. I appreciate that explanation and kind of giving us a little bit more information on what Primitive Reflex Integration Plus does. You can find everyone's presentation, contact information, phone numbers on the online agenda as well. Just to reiterate that, there should be a link in the chat. Yes, and so for the last presentation today, we have Starting from Scratch, which is going to be presented by Olivia McGuire. Olivia, whenever you're ready to present, feel free to turn your microphone and cameras on, and Kayla will have your slides ready for you once you let her know.
Perfect, I'm ready.
Cool.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Olivia McGuire and I am with Starting from Scratch. Starting from Scratch empowers adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities to learn vital skills that immediately transfer to daily life. And it's in the comfortable and familiar environment of the kitchen. So cooking is an instrumental activity of daily life, and it supports the ability of people with various ability levels to live more independent lives. And the next slide, please. Thank you. So Starting from Scratch offers a critical program where skills focus on safety, hygiene, communication, self-leadership, decision-making, and planning and executing tasks, as these are daily living skills that apply to situations at home and the workplace. So during this 6-week program that you can see here, students develop a base of practical and meaningful foundational skills which supports the social context behind cooking and provides an opportunity for individuals to experience joy, create new friendships, and celebrate accomplishments. Next slide, please. Thank you. So as mentioned, our current program is 6 weeks in length and classes are held virtually twice a week, and it is via Zoom, and those Zoom classes last 1 hour per class. So in the 6-week program, we do have a total of 12 virtual classes, which is 12 hours of direct instruction. So at this time, Starting from Scratch is private pay, and so only, with the total cost for the 6-week program being at $120. So each student, though, they receive a program kit, which includes that student portfolio workbook. It's a very detailed workbook, and that is integrated throughout our program. So students are doing self-assessments prior to joining our virtual class, and then the students are completing homework post our Zoom classes as well for transferable of skills. So we also have some printed supporting documents that help support that student portfolio creation. We have supplies, which are our scissors, glue sticks, markers, etc. And then we also have guides on how to access Zoom and how to access Google Classroom. So really our program is where technology meets hands-on learning. And of course, they also have a Starting from Scratch mask. And so one of our current partners right now is with Stepping Stone Support Center, and where we hold an exclusive class in their weekly schedule with a group of their participants. So in addition, we are also holding a separate class of students who have sought out additional learning opportunities or who may not be attending a day program or a school transition program. So looking ahead, you can see on the right-hand side of our slide there, we have opened up 3 additional classes. We have 2 winter sessions and 1 spring session. And this again is separate from our partnership with Stepping Stone Support Center, and those are listed here on the slides. So as capabilities increase, possibilities open up for students to realize new potential as thriving members and contributing members of our Colorado communities and to live their best possible lives. So for more information on our organization or to access program registration, you can head over to our website at www.startingfromscratch.love. And we just wanted to thank Developmental Pathways for having us today, and we're excited to connect with all of you as a resource.
Thanks so much, Olivia. That was great. Appreciate that. Again, that was Olivia with Starting from Scratch. All the presentations information can be found online on our agenda for today and tomorrow. You can download any presentation contact information, as well as seeing what's up next for tomorrow. Ending this last session for the day, we do have a few things for the question and answer part. So I'll ask Dinah to come on up. And anyone that was presenting, feel free to turn your videos on. Awesome. All right, so go ahead and take it away, Dinah. You're muted, Dinah. Can't hear you. Looks like we're having a little technical difficulties. Computer is not working. Well, so first time virtual Zoom. We did have some questions come in. If any of you want to chat about kind of what precautions maybe you're taking now with COVID. And I know a lot of the things that you guys were talking about did require like in-person interaction. Go ahead and start with Autism Community Store if you want to share a little bit.
We do, for sure, and that's actually a really good question. One of our big things is trying to keep our staff and the community safe. You know, we know that everybody has this kind of virtual fatigue, and we all want to see each other in person, and that connection is so especially important, especially for the autism community, which is often so isolated. But we do require, for any events that are in the store, we do require masks. Of course, masks have to be worn in the building by mandate anyways. For any of our outdoor events, we ask that anybody who's up and moving around to wear a mask. If it's like movie night and you're sitting down with your family on your blanket, then you can feel free to take your mask off, assuming that you are able to sit far enough away from other families, which so far has not been an issue. We do have we have a big Halloween event coming up, and we're just gonna make sure that we have enough staff to make sure that everybody is socially distanced and that masks are being worn. So, and then we also, I should say too, we also wipe everything down after all of the customers leave. We've put in touchless hand soap dispensers. We're getting touchless sanitizer dispensers. So everything we can to keep everybody safe.
Great, thank you, Stephanie. Lee, saw you video. Did you want to add anything about the COVID precautions that you folks are taking over there?
Sure. So we are, we've modified our theater seats so that everybody is socially distanced when you come in. So when you buy a ticket, for any of our shows, you buy a ticket in a cluster of 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on your party size. And so you're able to sit with your family, but you are definitely distanced from other people that are coming. We do require masks. For sensory-friendly programs, for kids under 10, we recommend them. We don't require them because that's what the guidance that we've received from Tri-County Health is. Anybody under 2, of course, doesn't have to wear one, but we really do recommend it because it's the way that we're able to stay open. But for somebody who it's really uncomfortable to wear a mask, we're okay, for a child not to do that. We normally hand things out, particularly at our sensory-friendly programs. We have a resource table, but we're not doing that right now because we're trying to be as touchless as possible. And of course, we're sanitizing the whole facility. We have an electrostatic magnetic. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's something that is able to basically sanitize the whole building within an hour. So we're always doing that between shows as well. And we are making sure that we don't have more than 18 performers on our stage. We're also distancing performers from the audience by 25 feet. So really nobody's coming into contact with anybody. One thing that I will say is a bummer is that oftentimes our performers really like to interact with the audience, particularly at our sensory friendly programs after the show. And we're just not able to do that because we can't ensure that people are going to be socially distanced. So that's a bummer. But everything else we're able to pretty much do on a really reduced scale from what we normally do.
Well, thank you, Lee. Mary? So it looks like you have a cat.
Okay, so we are, because we have the non-facility based day programs, we are sanitizing vehicles and, you know, sitting people apart from, you know, they're sitting in the back seat versus the front seat like they used to, things like that. We have hand sanitizer with every provider in their car, and masks, you know, wearing masks everywhere we go, and in the car. So just doing everything that the state recommends that we do.
Great. Thank you, Mary. Joanna?
We see clients one at a time. So there's only ever one child and their parents in the center at one time, plus whatever coaches are here. So no more than, it would be 5 max, with 2 coaches, 2 parents, and the child if all of those people were here at once. In between families, there's always a plenty of time for us to sanitize the entire place. In between, we also have hand sanitizer available, and we do wear masks the entire time. Everybody in the building wears masks.
Great, thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Olivia, I know you mentioned a lot online, but I'll let you go ahead and share.
Yes. Just to inform everyone, starting from scratch is staying online until an anticipated date of 2021. In the springtime, we are a newer nonprofit and are a provider, a direct service provider for day and school transition programs. But now we've got the opportunity to fully go online and be able to still be that direct service provider, and then also open up some of our additional classes. And so that's where we'll be.
Thank you. Kayla, I know you stepped in to jump in for Dinah to ask some questions, so I'll let you have the floor as well.
Thank you, Dre. So as Andrea mentioned, my name is Kayla. Many of you have gotten lots of emails from me. I think a question or a set of questions that always kind of comes up for families is just how do they pay for your services? That's financing and funding and things like that. How does that work for you all? And then also we serve a lot of Spanish-speaking families as well. So what are your ASL and Spanish-speaking supports that you have available for families? I guess we can go in order. So maybe with Autism Community Store.
Sure, thanks. So all of our events are free. Any programming that we do, the only exception is that we have had some classes and trainings that are done by some of our self-advocates, and we certainly want to support them in any way we can. So if they charge for it, then you can pay them for it. Normally it's a pretty nominal fee, and I know that we have that some of the CCBs have supported people in taking some of those trainings as well. As far as items from the store, we also do, unfortunately, we are not set up to take Medicaid or insurance or anything of that nature, but we do work with the CCBs on a regular basis to get a lot of the products out to families. If it's something that can be covered either by family support funding or waiver funding or whatever it might be. I unfortunately do not speak Spanish or sign language, but our owner does pretty well, and we do have another staff member who does as well. And then of course we do have our new partnership with El Grupo Vida. So if we do have somebody who's even not necessarily there for navigation, but even just looking at products in the store, and we see that there is that language barrier, we can always bring them out. We don't have anybody currently that has any American Sign Language background.
Thank you. And you did mention El Grupo Vida, so I'm sure that is very helpful for you all. And Lone Tree Art Center?
Yeah, in terms of ASL and Spanish speaking, we have staff that speak Spanish, and we also have connections with ASL providers in the community. So as long as we know in advance that somebody needs those services, we're able to provide them free of charge. And then in terms of cost for our programs, for the most part, our sensory-friendly programs cost $5 a ticket. So they're really low cost. Sometimes we're able to get grants to cover the costs completely. And our sensory-friendly stand is completely free.
Thank you very much. Naz Adventures.
Okay, let's see, as far as we work on the Medicaid waivers, so I bill Medicaid, and that's how the independent contractors are paid. So, and as far as the Spanish speaking, I did have one Spanish speaking provider. I don't have any longer, but I'm always looking for one. And the American Sign Language, I know some of that, and my son knows some. He works with the guy that uses sign language, so he's able to communicate with him. But we don't have anybody really on staff that we can say, yes, we have that. But we work hard to try and get them, get it covered.
Thank you, Mary. I think next is the PRI Plus. Oh, you're still muted.
Double click to turn myself right back off. Currently, we are self-pay. We have some ideas in the works to get some scholarships available, but that is not up and running yet. I speak French and Spanish, or I'm sorry, French and German, but no Spanish. And our co-founder has some ASL experience. Thank you.
Thank you. And then lastly, starting from scratch.
Perfect, thank you so much. So to go kind of back just a little bit, Starting from Scratch is a project of the Colorado Nonprofit Development Center, and they serve as our fiscal sponsor. So they are an amazing group of individuals from a variety of backgrounds, and they help support each of their projects in order to make sure that their projects and the individuals they serve are able to access each of our programs. So that goes along with any resources it may be, from speaking a different language to using ASL. So again, with that, I spoke briefly about the cost of our program, and we are private pay. Again, CNDC is our fiscal sponsor, so you will see that tagged along with our organization. And our 6-week program is $120 for the full course. And for our individual courses, that's coming directly from the families, but then with our partnerships through day or school transition programs, that has been adjusted to see if programs are specifically paying for that or if the families are paying. So it goes a little bit different on depending what class each individual is signed up for.
Thank you all for answering those questions for us. I'll pass it back to Dre.
Thanks, Kayla. Thank you all presenters. I know it's been a fun presentation. We do have this recorded, so we'll be able to put that live once it's all completed, and that'll go as well on the online agenda link. So that will allow people to see your presentations at any other time. So we'll connect you folks as well as far as any questions that were given. If we get any emails or anything like that, we'll make sure to connect them to you folks. If there's any other questions, I don't see any hands. That would conclude our first day of the Virtual Resource Fair. Thank you so much for coming and presenting. Really appreciated all your shares. For those that are watching still, we will see you tomorrow. We do have presentations going on tomorrow all day from 12 till about 5:30. And yeah, have a great day.
Thanks, Dre.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.